Hi, and welcome to the Mojo Diaries, where we explore how real people rediscover their spark, rebuild their lives, and find their way back to joy, energy, and purpose. I'm Ram, and in every episode, we sit down with someone whose journey has shaped not just by success, but by reflection, reinvention, and inner strength. Today's conversation is very special. My guest is someone whose journey I've seen up close, the highs, the lows, the transitions, and the incredible resurgence that she has created for herself. She's an interior designer, an entrepreneur, and someone who has rebuilt her life with quiet courage and a renewed sense of purpose. Please welcome Sujatha Raman.
Hi, Ram.
So, Sujatha, let's start at the beginning. Where were some of your earlier influences that shaped the person that you became? Were there moments from childhood or youth that kind of defined your personality, creativity, independence, resilience, anything that stayed with you to finally form the career and the life choices that you are today?
Yes, I think I would attribute most of this, the courage, the will to try something new and to experiment with, new things fearlessly. Were all traits I think I have learned from my father because I remember as a young child constantly shadowing him, and he always wore many hats. He was an advocate by profession, but besides that, when he was at home, he was a very hands-on father, a handyman, I would say, and there was nothing that I know that he couldn't do. So just following him around the house, he was the electrician, he was the carpenter, and everything. And so that kind of taught me to be brave about taking on, any task and the I can do attitude.
Okay. Um, let's get into your, before we come to your current chapter as your interior design, you have lived a full life with different roles, responsibilities, and a long career in IT and different identities. How do you look at the success in those years? What were the phases that felt smooth? What were the ones that felt a little confusing or heavy? And how did you deal with all those different stages?
I think when I was young, it felt like I had clarity. I had clarity in becoming a civil engineer, and I would attribute some of the influences from my cousin, who is himself a civil engineer, and I kind of looked upon him as my mentor and guide. But when I first started my, when I took up my first job, um, it was not quite what I had imagined. Life was tough because my first assignment was to be a site engineer, and the obvious hurdles were there. I did not have a bathroom. So that was something that was very, very difficult for me to, manage. And I sort of figured that that was not the right place for me because it didn't support, me as a woman in a field that was dominated by men. I then, switched to taking up an office job with an architect, where there was a lot of creativity, and of course, I had the luxury of sitting in an office and working. But at some point, I think I needed more push. I wanted to be pushed beyond my boundaries. I wanted more challenges. And that's when I took the leap to give up everything in civil engineering and take up IT. IT comes with, there's a lot of analytical thinking that needs to be done in IT. And I really loved that phase of about 17 years in IT, constantly learning. And I think my age and phase in life also supported me. Um, and I thoroughly enjoyed that journey.
Wow, interesting and very inspiring. Now, every long life journey has a moment where things shift, sometimes suddenly, sometimes slowly. For you, when did that turning point happen? Uh, what was that phase like emotionally or mentally, and what helped you to stay grounded through all of it?
Um, I think the challenges I started facing were after we moved back to India because there was really no support for handling young children for working mothers, and I kind of had to take a back seat and stay home and be with the kids during their growing years, ferrying them to school, being actively involved in their lives, and also taking them around to various classes and supporting their extracurricular activities. It was not at all easy for me to do that because I was someone who never enjoyed, homebound. I'm not a social person, and so I never enjoyed anything, socially. So I was more of a person that wanted to get some kind of work done, and I wanted to be very productive during my day. So that was a very, very difficult phase for me. While looking back, I cannot thank myself enough for having been there with my kids and watching them grow, because had I not been there, I think today I would have felt very sorry that I missed those years.
Okay, great points. Now, at some point, right, something changed. You rediscovered yourself, and interior design entered the picture. Where did that spark come from? Because shifting from IT to interior design is, a little different. What made you choose this path at this stage of life? And was there a moment where you felt like, this is my calling?
Yes. So, very good question, because I love telling the story about what happened and how I came back into this. So when we were constructing our house and doing the interiors, I could, I couldn't help getting involved in the planning and the execution of the interiors of our own house. And somewhere I felt a kind of reminder that I actually could be doing something like this myself. Starting with one small kitchen, an opportunity from a friend triggered that spark, and I kept coming back to this, even though half my mind kept telling me that I need to be back in IT. A little back and forth between IT and interior projects off and on in the last 12 years. One fine day, I think while I had an IT job very recently, I think I something in me just said, okay, this is enough. This is not what I want to wake up and do every day. And so, I told myself that today's the day I'm starting a new life. I'm going back to what I love doing. And it never feels like work, waking up and, handling everything in this business, whether it's a challenge, whether it's, there are good days, there are bad days, and every day can be a roller coaster of its own. And I thoroughly enjoy that. And I think that's where I realized that I like the turmoil, I like the challenges of chaos, and I think I'm I thrive in that.
So you say the natural chaos kind of is your kind of the what you thrive in, that keeps going, when a lot of people, will not be able to handle such turmoil, or sometimes just the day in and day out filled with um, different types of pressures, timelines. Is that what it is?
Strangely, yes. People run away from chaos, but if I don't have challenges, if I don't have chaos in my at my work, then I always wonder if something is wrong.
Okay. That kind of leads me to the current, the present now. So cutting to the present, you're working on many projects, including an international one. Tell us about this new chapter you're in. How do you see that growing? What excites you about your work today? Do you have a design policy or a way you look at spaces? How do you get um, inspired by things? And and I'm assuming now you're going to make this a full-blown career, right? When you start doing international projects, that's going to be bigger and bigger projects, probably a lot more people. How are you all set for that phase in your life?
What I have, learned is that this industry. So I'm focusing mainly on doing the interiors, and even within that, focusing on the execution because I realized that that's the one part in the construction and doing the interiors of a home where every homeowner has painful memories. And that's the one thing I want to change for everyone. Want to make this a very pleasant journey, uh, building your home or putting your home together. And so what I'm trying to do is be in that niche industry and provide that service uh, to everyone in such a way that they actually enjoy this rather than have bad memories of this. They may have a beautiful home at the end, but um, several people that I'm sure you would agree if you've spoken to anyone about owning a home and actually moving in, they will always be talking about the horrible experience they had with the contractor or with the people working there or anyone else who was directly coordinating work with them. So we want to leave the stress out for all the homeowners, and not just homeowners now. Yeah, like you mentioned, our new projects are looking at the hospitality industry. And in this one, we are focusing on quality finishes. So I think we want to make that our niche, working with very good quality workers, bringing out the best in projects, and let's hope we're able to live up to this and create a revolution in this industry.
Wow, interesting. So, you made an amazing kind of a shift into a second career, right? And so, from your angle, so for any women out there, or for anybody in particular who are trying to restart a second career in their 40s or 50s, what would you tell them?
I would first say, be clear about what you want. It cannot be something that you like for a day or two. It has to be something that you want to wake up and do day in and day out, and you cannot get bored of doing that. So that once you have identified that that is your calling, and believe it or not, you will get the strength from somewhere to just make things happen. The other thing I would say is, network. Networking not just, is about adding people to your list, to your contact list, but networking helps us meet all kinds of people, and everyone has had a journey of their own, and there is always something that we can learn from everyone. So, I think in the last couple of years, I have met so many interesting people, and I have taken away a little piece of, a lesson from their lives. And I try to either imbibe it or, you know, um, learn something from that or remember what not to do. Some of them share their hardships, and that helps us be careful about some things that can typically go wrong with our decisions. And so, yes, I would say networking, is something that we definitely need to learn to do.
No, I mean, of course, that makes sense and that is interesting. But, while it's simple to say it's networking, but after a certain age, we are all fine-tuned to a certain way of doing things. So that mind shift to do something new, what do you think should we have a soft skill, like, what should we read, what should be our mindset? Um, how do we overcome uh, kind of the ways that have been doing things? And if you're not good at networking, right, that doesn't mean that it will work. So what are some things that has made you, from an IT, which is like, projects, to suddenly going out meeting people? What does that mind shift has been?
I think something that is very, very difficult, as age progresses, is for us to unlearn things that we have been so used to, and we think that that's the right way to do get stuff done. So for me, I had to learn a lot of new things, and every day is a learning. Whether it is, how to run the business, whether it's how to project yourself. Today we need to sell our services. We cannot be shy. We have to be, be able to openly speak about ourselves, our service. We need to push ourselves. It's a very competitive world, and it's no longer, the time for people to be discovered. We need to go out and, so there's always learning. I'm constantly attending, webinars, sessions. I'm signing up for, a lot of activities here and there. This constant learning definitely helps. And I think it's a must. We cannot sit back and rely on what we have known and what we have been all these years.
Wow. Okay, so if what was this whole journey? If you were to look back, what has this journey taught you about confidence, about your ambition, about your identity, and what gives you joy today? What does a good life mean to you?
Um, I think a good life is one where you wake up and you are content with whatever you have around you, whether it's, your relationships, whether it's your work, whether it's the money, um, whatever it is. For everyone, the scales are different. And I think if we are able to identify what those scales are, and we are able to achieve them, or come to an understanding of, it's okay. And I think the biggest learning, or the biggest thing that changed my life, was learning to let go. Learning to let go of a lot of baggage, learning to live in the moment and not worry, and to always believe that everything is going to be okay.
Inspiring. So besides work, and I'm sure since you're in that phase of restart, I'm sure there's plenty of time spent on your career. But what are other things that keep you going? Whether it's be as hobbies, whether it is different, reading or spirituality, to keep you, going to the next level, because every day is different. And so what gives you that energy to face every day, which could be challenging in itself?
I think what I do is, there has to be an unwinding process for me. So that's something I do. I just like to do some mindless things, like laugh a little. I watch some, funny videos, and that kind of takes me away from all the open issues that can be dealt with the next day. I also completely and totally believe in spirituality. I listen to a lot of music around bhajans, and and also, of course, movie songs from various languages. Um, so these things, totally relax me. The other thing I really love doing is driving. So whenever I'm stressed and I'm not able to, get a hold of the situation, or I need a break, I just get out of the house, and I go to site. And somehow the chaos at the site, or whatever it is at the site, completely calms me down, and I just become this totally revived person once I'm there, and I just come back. So in the process, I get work done because when I go there, there's always something people want to ask me, and I get things done. But again, relaxation is again work.
Oh, very interesting because you would hear a lot of people say they go to some quiet place to kind of regenerate or think through their ideas or how what to do the next level. But that's a very interesting take. We now come to my favorite part of the show, the 15-year letter. If you could write a short letter to Sujata from 15 years ago, just a few lines, what would you want that younger version of you to know? This is about a warning her or changing the past, but just sharing one or two truths that you have learned along the way that you could tell her. Um, so, what would that be? A very short message to her 15 years back to her saying, hey, I mean, and one would be what you were trying to do at that time, and did that turn out, or what were your focus at that time? Is that the same, or anything? What would you tell her, a younger Sujata, 15 years back?
Um, I think the Sujata 15 years back was a little nervous, feeling directionless, not knowing, whom to talk about it to. Um, and I would say, take to spirituality, because while spirituality is a very generic term, I would say read the Bhagavad Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita is one scripture that's not connected to any religion, but I would call it a book of life. So it kind of gets you thinking on yourself, and that's so that you'll find all your answers to whatever questions keep arising in your mind. Just read the Bhagavad Gita. You will find your answers, and I found mine.
Wow, inspiring again. All right, let's coming back to my final question. For someone listening right now who wants their mojo back, who feels stuck or drained, what's one small step they can take tomorrow morning to start moving again?
First of all, believe in yourself. Believe that there is a good day. There is a good day. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be the day after tomorrow, but it is definitely coming. Be hopeful because I have seen it, and it is real. It is real. Everything needs to be balanced. So a bad day is always balanced with a good day. So hang in there, and be positive about whatever you're feeling. Don't have any negative feeling. Always being positive attracts positivity, and I have experienced that too. So just shut off all the negative thoughts in your mind and just believe, and it will happen.
Wow, very inspiring again. So, Sujata, thank you for sharing your journey with such honesty and warmth. Your story will resonate with a lot of people who are rebuilding their lives or rediscovering their own purpose. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Mojo Diaries. If this conversation moved you, share it with someone who might need it. See you in the next one.